another episode of Driving Cheap with Jeff. So in today's episode, my daughter and I made a little trip to LKQ in hopes that we could actually get there before somebody else would take the 8.4 Uconnect screen out of it. It's raining, it showed up yesterday. I check every day to see what vehicles arrive at LKQ. This was a late arrival yesterday, I think. I also have climate control display with auto. And this car, oh, and my car's black, and I have the backup camera. So I was able to get a surround piece, a trim piece for my backup camera, which matches. I have one from a 22 model, but it's blue. And I also got the whole complete leather interior. I don't buy the seats. You don't buy the metal seat frames because the wiring is different from car to car. This is a 2016, but I keep my frames if they're good. So what I did was, didn't take long, I've done this before. I took a good center console out of it. It just needs a little gluing and cleaning. This car's dirty. This car had the ventilated. You can see, it has fans top and bottom for the ventilated, heated, cooled seats. And I simply just unfastened all the leather off the seats. It didn't take long. You just have to be careful. Back. I love fold-down seats. So I got the fold-down seat, all leather, got all that out of there. And it's not, I actually do not have a car to put these leather seats in. But what I like to do is get the parts before I get the car. I already have a complete, really nice carpet with center console. And I just need to get all this stuff ready for my next retired Dodge Charger police pursuit model. All right, so I got all my stuff back to the house. Rained all day yesterday, it's raining today. I have the, cleaned this leather up, cleaned up really, really nice. There's a couple little spots I might have to pay a little more attention to, but I hosed this stuff down and washed it with some Arm & Hammer extreme cleaner and some Dawn soap and just scrubbed everything for about an hour, maybe 40 minutes. But all together, I was able to get all this leather interior, which I don't buy the metal seat frames. The secret to this is you use your old metal seat frames, and if you need to repair, then you buy parts from the metal seats, but this was a lot more expensive when you buy the actual metal portion of the seat. I just slide all the leather and pull all the panels. Back seat, I'll buy the whole back seat because I like the fold down. Just can't forget to get the little latches. Have to buy the latches with it. And it's pretty cheap. Like I said, I haven't really itemized everything. I also bought another console. Literally just sold one of these consoles. Washed this all up really nice. I've got the panels over here, which I have to super glue. That's part of the process. So this will help pay for what I just bought. And this, I almost missed out on this. This was really, all this stuff was really dirty. It came from a 2016 SXT with probably the best interior that you could buy on an SXT Dodge Charger. I already had this from another trip. We'll talk about that later. But literally missed this by 5 or 10 minutes. And this, the reason I say I almost missed it was I sat in the car, I just removed it, and I was working on taking the console out when another man came back and asked about the radio, and I told him I already had it. I'm sorry. I felt bad for him, but at the same time, I was really happy I made it there in time to get it. Also, the other feature I wanted was the auto feature on the climate control. So I got the climate control module, cleaned this all up real nice. And my car is black, this car was black. I needed this cap to go over my backup camera, and I got a backup camera too. I also wanted to make sure I had a shark fin that matched the car, because my car doesn't have one. I'm not drilling any holes, but it does look cool for another possibility. You got that in the gasket. I said I got the camera. Bought this antenna on another trip because when you buy a basic police car, you're not going to have the antenna And you're not going to have the wiring to run. I removed this from the harness. This wiring goes, there's two separate harnesses. One goes from the Uconnect to the right corner of the car. The other goes from the right corner of the car to the antenna. So rather than buying that new, I spent about an hour cutting this out of the harness and trying to carefully pull it out without damaging it, and getting the other, the backup camera wiring. I also have the wiring for the backup camera. All this stuff, I mean, that's, when you're at a U-pull-it, that barely costs anything. So I got that. You also, if you have a police car and you ever plan on doing a column shift relocation to the tunnel, you want to get this because it doesn't have the cutout for your column shift. Otherwise you'll just have a gap there. So I've got a couple of these. Unlike the old ones, your Uconnect mounts to the car, not the trim piece, which is really nice. So you can use the same trim piece for any Uconnect you have. I already bought one from LKQ. It was a 7.1 or 7.4, I think 7.1. Doesn't have nav on it, so it came from a 2022. I decided to go ahead and swap it out because I love the 8.4 Uconnect. Now, when you are doing your column shift to tunnel swap, this. I like having, I got the fuse. This is the non-police trunk fuse box cover. And the you want to get this too because as you add features, you can put them back where they go in the fuse box. That's why I get these little pins, so I can actually put it where it goes. But when you're doing your tunnel swap out, make sure when you take this out. Now when I bought this, I bought these parts cash and carry, and somebody else had already pulled the engine and transmission. They damaged the shift cable. The shift cable on the regular model with the 5-speed nag transmission, right, is longer. So because it's a longer distance from the tunnel going through the firewall to the transmission and from the column to the transmission. So you need the slightly longer transmission shift cable. And you really need, even if you have a 15 to present, you need the old style shift selector. And you would obviously you'd have to extend this cable out, which is no big deal. But you need to get all these little parts. There's a pin, a little locking pin. You need that. This, I just had this off to clean it up. This just goes on there. And you need the nuts. You need the bolt for the transmission, or for the where it mounts on the side. And you also need the old style shifter. So you need this from the old style, because you have to remember that they did not make the 8-speed did not come in the police Charger till 2022. So they only put that 5-speed nag transmission in the police package cars. So the only way you're going to get them is from 11 to 14, that style shifter with that setup. Cables, and the cable too, pretty much. You need the longer cable, because everything after all your non-police pretty much had the 8-speed transmission. The 5-speed was just a preference for the police. So that's what you need for that. And I might go back and actually properly trace out the cutout. Instead of reversing this cutout, I might go to the car with a piece of paper and stencil it and cut it with a razor blade, so I can precisely scratch it into the trunk lid of the car so I don't mess up at all. And I could cut it with a Dremel. So that's another idea. So there are a couple little marks on these seats, but I don't think it's a big deal. There's no rips, there's really no wear. You see, these came out of the ventilated seats. these were ventilated, but I don't care about that stuff. I just like leather. I don't need ventilated. This stuff, I basically bought all this for my next 2015 and up Dodge Charger project car. Because once you put leather in one of these cars, it changes the whole dynamic of the car. Everything about it just becomes different when you put leather interior in a police car. So hopefully you like this video. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.